Howdy, it's Matt. And have you worked out what that is in front of us yet? Yes, that is a 5 foot by 5 foot CNC machine cutting out its very first proper part. Now, those of you which don't know what that is in meters, it's a 1.5 meter square CNC machine. This has been something which I've wanted for, well, I think every man wants one, if I'm frankly honest. And what we've got here is the output of many frustrating times, and you'll see me here walking around the CNC, and I will do that live with you in a few moments time. It's just so much noise which this machine creates, it's unreal. So I'm doing this little bit of a voiceover beforehand, and then you'll catch me giving you a proper overview to all these parts, and I'm just pointing out things as they're moving around here on the screen. But this really does show a lot of potential for projects which we will be seeing here on the Rag the Nuts Off channel in the very near future, in short, because while I work out how I should set this thing up properly, because that piece which we're cutting out there, there's some irony. Oh, there's the emergency stop switch. I can tell you I've had to use that once or twice so far. Anyway, getting back to my point, the part which we're cutting out here is, and I'm absolutely shocked, 90 degrees. That's why it was first part which I've done is an L shape, just to confirm it really is cut in square, and it is cut in square. I'm super impressed about that. That was a big thing I was worried about. It was supposed to be 20 centimeters by 5 centimeters. However, it's come out at 33 and 83 millimeters in the other direction. So obviously I need to get into the post-processor software, which I'm using Mac 3. And I will explain what these different things mean at a later date, but for now, just be aware, I am very much this, and I'm not kidding you, I've had this thing here for about 2 weeks now, and I've just got to cutting out the very first piece. I'm kid you not, I've stood in front of this machine and said to myself, I just do not know what I'm doing. And I've watched other videos and things like that, and I'm still no better off in a few places. Anyway, it's just finished. You're going to catch an excited Matt right here, right now. Right, this thing is ridiculously noisy. The frame itself is whatever. I'll jog it around a moment. It's whatever, you know. It's fine. But with the router on, it is exceptionally noisy. So what have I just done besides cover everything with dust? Right. What I've been created is that I wanted to see the creation which I'd made on the laptop, whether that came out into real life. And what I programmed that in was for 6mm, which, to be honest, seeing as I've not leveled this bed at all and I didn't put any tabs in it, we've got to be mighty impressed with that, because obviously it's moved around a little bit, but last moment panic. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to my point. This is the first proper part which I have been cut out of some 6mm MDF. I am not worried about the finishes on the corners or anything like that. I'm just building a part as a straightforward proof of concept, just to make sure that everything works, because the first time I did it, I broke an M-mill, I lost an M-mill, it went into the 8th dimension. I found out why later on, and then yesterday I did 2 little squares in there, and that was just a pure success. I got over so many hurdles to get where I am today, and I've actually made my first real part. And you may be wondering, Matt, why have you made an L shape? Well, that's simply for me just to check square. I will do this off camera in a few moments time. I'll go and get a ruler, and I'm just for my own paranoia, just to make sure that this thing is cut in at 90 degrees. It's such a simple cut, but also it's such a crucial cut to see if we really are cutting square, which give you a hint right there, that needs a tiny bit of cleaning up, but I can pretty much tell you I am a very happy Matt. That is a square cut which is being made, and that's happy days. Right, let's take a few moments to have a look at the CNC machine itself. In short, if I step back, you'll get an idea on the scale of it. is that we have two axes, one either side, okay, and that is the y-axis, which brings it forwards towards us and away. It moves that big bar just there, okay, so when it's coming towards us or away from us, that is the y-axis. Then you got the left, that's the right, and then we got the left, so that's moving the router to the left over there and over to the right. That is our x-axis. And then we have the best one of them all, or the most dangerous one of them all, which is the z-axis, which is what sets this router up and down. Now the motors which do that, well, the z-axis is really obvious because it's sat right on top. It measures a lead screw. Now a lead screw, I'll show you around this side, is one of those. There's basically two ways which a CNC works. You can either have a lead screw, which is what we've got there, which has slower speed but more torque, and again I would like to be doing metals later, so that's why I've gone for a lead screw. Or there's a belt driven option, which is generally much cheaper, I would say, or I would say more of interest because it's cheaper. It's not, it's horses for courses. I went for lead screw for a couple of key reasons, one of them being torque and future-proofing the machine for me. That said, belt-driven machines are just as cheap. And by the way, it's a lead screw here, it's a lead screw down the back on the x-axis, and as we've just seen, there's lead screw both in both y-axis axes as well. Is that how you pronounce it? We're just going to call it axis from now on. We can see the plate which moves up and down. The motor on the top spins in the middle, and if we take a look inside, there's one of those lead screws that goes through a joint in the middle of there, and that's what allows that to go up and down. There is a limit switch in the bottom of there. I did also bring out some more limit switches. I'm going to put a limit switch on the top. I'm going to put I'm going off topic. We've also got this mechanism here with these rollers on, and you'll see that here for the x-axis is that there's another one of these stepper motors that spins, and then that pushes this whole mechanism here away from us or towards us, okay, or it goes positive and it goes negative. And then you'll see that we've got this like caterpillar track there as well, so the wires move and are kept safe. Staying with that, it's this exactly same principle here for the rear stepper motor, and what we've got here is basically two stepper motors working together to push a lead screw, push it forwards to then push this y-axis positive, which is away from us, and negative towards us. Hope I haven't lost you so far. Really straightforward, and the wiring diagrams and things like that were very, very good, which came with the kit. We have an open power supply right now that is 240 volts, and they're connected directly to the mains up there. It's a little bit sketchy to say the least, but right now I'm still finding my feet with this stuff, and I'm quite happy for it to be sat on the side. This is our stepper motor controller, so it takes the information which comes from the laptop, comes along the wire via USB into that board there. That board then tells this board what it needs to do, because that board or the laptop is not capable of driving these motors, which need potentially quite a lot of current, and that's what this board here does. So so the computer tells this board then instructs this board on what it should be, and we'll see the 4 different sets of wires here. Again, it's all just color coded. It was all really straightforward. It's just jam in the holes and do up, and of course make sure we were really getting 24 volts out of the power supply and things like that. Really, really straightforward. The only awkward bit, and you'll see from my little bit of janky wire in there, remember this is straightforward, proof of concept, make it work, sort stuff out later approach, and that's what I've taken here. So we got the communication wires that go across for our 3 axes, but the extra one here on the end is a duplicate, so we got one motor there and we've got another motor over there. On some smaller machines you may just have one stepper motor for the y-axis, however, just because of the scale of this one, because that is 5 foot, that is 1.5 meters across, which it's got to do, we need 2. And then you'll notice that we've got one black wire, which is our common. That's why we got a little bit of janky wire in there, because I've put all the commons or the grounds together and soldered them together. And then we've got several inputs. We've got an input for a probe, which is not here yet, shall we say. We've got the button, the stop buttons, the emergency button in there, and then the other inputs here are the limit switches, which there's a limit switch just there. So when that mechanism here, this part of the machine, as it moves all the way up, if it comes up too far, it will click that switch and then it will stop. That's one minor gripe which I have with the kit, is that it came with 3 limit switches, which is the bare minimum. However, I will be putting another limit switch at that end as well, just in case for whatever reason we run off, and I'll do the same. Well, in fact, once I've done that side, I've got one on each axis, so I've got one there and I need to put one down there. I've got one over there and I want to put another one there, and then on the y-axis is that I've got one at the bottom, which was a bit of an arse to get to. I moaned my head off here, how on earth do you do it? And actually it turned out to be really easy in the end. So I think it could have been done better, if I'm honest, and in the instructions it would have been really nice if they'd mentioned about putting the limit switch in there when you had it in pieces. But in hindsight, it wasn't that hard, it was just awkward, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's the CNC machine. Really, the only limitation to the CNC, besides depth, is your imagination. You can literally make anything you want on this machine, and that's the really exciting part for me, is that I must admit, I've been stood here at that computer going, and I've literally said to myself, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing and why this is not working. I've just drawn a blank, and it's been a few frustrating days, if I'm frankly honest. However, I've just done, well, no, it's we're both on this, we're all on this adventure together. I've literally just been and done our first proper cut of a proper part, and it's come out square, and I am genuinely really, really pleased, because, and it also did it down to 6 mils as well. This is, oh hang on. Should we have a look at my spoil board and see how much I chopped up on that? And no, I don't have any proper work holding yet. It's called 2 clamps, one up at either end. If we go and take a quick look, keep away from that drill bit. Yeah, we might need a slight calibration, because we did dig down perhaps a little bit far. I did set that right down on the top of that material as well, so I need to go and look at my tooling paths to understand why we went further than what I was expecting. However, I'm not complaining. We did get a good part out of it, and at the end of the day, it's only MDF, and we didn't go all the way down to the aluminium frame underneath, so life's good. In short, so that's my first part, and I must admit, we got a little bit of tear out and stuff on the edges, with a bit of fluff, but I'm sure that every part which we make will need to do some finishing to it. However, the key point, I'm going to put that set square back up on there. First proper test, I'll actually put that on there, so let's put this round square. There we go. Right, so that's flush on that side, and that is flush on that side, and I'll do it right up on the ends as well. It's a 20 by 20 square, and yes, happy and days. So where do we go from here? Right, I've got a collection of little projects which I'd like to do, and again, I'm still very much learning. I don't feel that I'm at a stage where I can tell you how exactly things work, so look out for a later video on that. But I do have a screen on the way to me, a touch screen on the way to me. I've got an old XP computer which got up in here, and again I've got to sort out the networking as well here. I've got some parts on order, but it really is a work in progress, and I'm just I don't know what to say. It's the what is it? The calm before the storm. Is it the realization that I've now got a device which is, for all intents and purposes, what's the rating on this one? 0.2 millimeters of accuracy compared to Matt's. When it comes to woodworking in Matt, if it's within a centimetre, I'm happy. You kind of get, it's an order of magnitude more accurate than what I could ever be. Does that make sense? That has so much potential, not only within the wood material, but also in other materials and other advantages. So just to keep you up to date with what's going on here with the CNC, really exciting times, and I'm just so happy that came out square. Look out for some future projects using the CNC, and I promise you, and again, I will do a proper overview to this CNC machine as well. But you're going to have to wait on me, because I am still learning this, and I've still got to do the full setup in here properly as well. I need to get that whole workbench out in the back corner, and then I need to get this up in the corner as well. I've got a collection of other tasks which I'm trying to do and trying to work at the same time, etc, etc. So yeah, good times. If you have any questions or comments, let me know underneath this video, and as always, from myself, Matt, thank you for joining. See you soon. Cheerios.